Hi everybody, welcome to Monday's maths lesson. Let's move this one down here, there we go. It's the 5th of the 7th, 2021, and we're learning to understand percentages as fractions and decimals. So we've spent an awful amount of time recently on fractions and decimals. We've got a real good understanding of fractions and decimals. Your first lesson on Friday just gone was understanding fractions. Understanding percentages. Now we're going to begin to combine all three. So for this activity, you will need a pencil or something to write with, and some paper or the exercise book you were given last week. Okay, let's move on to our starter then. Okay, so you've got 4 questions there. You can just move this over here. So you've got 4 questions, and I'd like you to have a go at answering those questions. Give yourself a few minutes to do so. So pause the video and have a go. Pause the video now. Okay, welcome back everyone. Let's see how we did. So question number 1, what fraction of a square is shaded? So when you look at this fraction, this square, the first thing you would do is just check how many squares there are in each column. So I'd look at that and go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We'd assume it's 10, but you'd always want to just double check. So we've got 3 columns of 10 there, so we know that gives us 30 plus 8 plus the 1, which will give us 39. Oh, moving my camera. Don't want to stretch it. That would not be a pretty sight. Okay, which would give us 39. And as a fraction, we will write that as 39 hundredths. Okay, so what fraction of a square is shaded? It's 39 hundredths. 39 out of 100 squares. Question 2. It then asks you here to simplify 20 hundredths. So 20 hundredths equals 1 over something. Okay, so first thing we have to do is we'd look and go, right, okay, so my numerator, to get it from 20 to 1, I have to divide it by 20. And whatever you do to your numerator, you also have to do to your denominator. So 20 divided by 1 gives me 1. Now we do the same for our denominator. 100 divided by 20, in other words, how many 20s are there in 100? The answer would be 5, so the answer is 1/5. Moving on to the next question. What percentage of the bar is shaded? So again, looking at the bar, the first thing you would do is just work out how many squares there are really. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So there is 10. There usually is. Just want to double check. And what percentage of the bars are shaded? So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 shaded. Each bar is worth 10. 10 times 5 will give you 50. So as a percent, 50% of a bar is shaded. What fraction of a bar is shaded? So it's not asking us what the fraction is. Remember, with percentages, it's out of 100. So if we're talking about fraction, we're doing it out of 100 as well. When we link it, so we know that it's going to be 100 as a denominator, and then your percentage would become your numerator. Okay, so in which case it's 50 over 100, but you can simplify that to 5/10. So 50 over 100 would also be correct, which can again be simplified to 1/2. What is 20% of 20? The question says down here. So the bar model really nicely breaks it down for you, really, because you've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 squares here. Okay, and this is a value of 20. So that's if you divide it by 10. Okay, so you know that the answer is going to be 2. So you've got your 20, you divided your 20 into 10, and your answer is 2. And then you could always do the inverse to double check, working backwards. So 2 multiplied by 10 will give us 20. Right, great. I think our brains are warmed. We're warm. We're ready to go. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So 50 out of 100 squares is shaded blue. As a fraction, we would say 50 hundredths. which can simplify to 5/10, which also then simplifies to 1/2. And if you look at this, you can see it's 50 out of 100, but you can see that it's a half. So half of this grid is shaded blue. And if you look at each column has 10 in, and there's 5/10 in each column too. So percent always means out of 100. So here we have 35 out of 100, which is 35 hundredths as a fraction. As a decimal, that would be 0.35, which equals, as a percentage, 35%. So they all link really nicely. Fractions, decimals, and percentages. Which is greater than 41% or 41 hundredths? Well, let's look at a grid. So we have 41 out of 100 squares shaded here, which is 41 hundredths, which is 0.41 or 0 and 41 hundredths, which is 41%. So it's equal. 41% equals 41 hundredths. Here we have a number line, and as you can see above, we have 35 out of 100, 35 hundredths, 0.35 or 0 and 35 hundredths, and 35%. So on a number line, this could be 1/10, or it could be 10 hundredths. Okay, 30 hundredths will go here. Therefore, 35 hundredths will go there. Where would they go? Have a think. It would also go in the exact same place on the number line because they're equal. What I'd like you to do now is have a go at questions 1 and 3 on your worksheet. So pause the video, have a go at these questions, and then come back and we'll have a look at some example questions for the next part of your worksheet. So pause video now. Good luck, guys. Welcome back. Hopefully we managed to do a good job there. And do remember to send your work to me once you have finished. Let's carry on then. So what is greater, 38% or 52 hundredths? Well, looking at the grid, we've got 52 hundredths shaded blue. Quite difficult to see because of the colour. Okay, but this here, that is 52 hundredths. And then we've got 38% up here. Remember, percent means out of 100. I always remember, if you look at the percent sign, if you imagine it on the side, if you turn it upside down, it looks like a 1 and 2 zeros. So just always reminds you that it has to be out of 100. So just by looking at the size of that, okay, it's clear that 38 out of 100, which is 38 hundredths, is definitely less than 52 out of 100, which is 52 hundredths. So if you were to compare them, we would say 52 hundredths is greater than 38%. Okay, now what I'd like you to do, so get your paper and pencil at the ready, is I'd like you to put the following numbers in order. So start with the smallest. So we have 0 and 42 hundredths as a decimal, 35%, 0.4 or 0 and 4/10, and 47 hundredths. So pop them in order from the smallest, please. Pause video here and have a go. Okay, let's see how we did. So remember, ascending means smallest, so sometimes you'll get a question and it will say put these numbers in ascending order. That means the same as smallest to largest. There we go. I looked at it then, I thought, hang on a minute, that's not in the right order. So to begin with, we've got 0.35, 35 hundredths as a decimal. It's our smallest. And we know that because if we compare the column, so you can see what we did here is we converted them all to decimals first. So if you convert them all to decimals, it helps, or you can convert them all to percent, or you can convert them all to fractions. Okay, but if you convert them all to the same context, the same measure, then it's much easier to make a comparison. So 0 and 35 hundredths is the smallest because it's got 3 in the tenths column, whilst the others have 4. Then we have 0.4 or 0.40. Remember that 0, it can be there as a placeholder if it helps you, but it doesn't need to be there. 0.4 is the same as 0.40, followed by 0.42, and our largest, not quite sure why it decided to go right next to it, and our largest number there is 0.47 or 0 and 47 hundredths. Next up, circle the fractions which are less than 20%. So when we look at this, probably better off converting first to percentage. Let's have a look. So we know that 20% as a decimal, as a fraction, is 20 hundredths. So based on that, we look at less than. So which of those is less than 20%? So 20 hundredths we know is 20%. 22 hundredths, okay, is that going to be a bigger value or smaller value? Then we've got 20 fifteenths and 1/6. Okay, so have a think. Oh, I wasn't meant to press that yet. Okay, let's see. So 20 hundredths, no, because 20 hundredths equals exactly 20%. Oh. I went too far then, apologies for that. So 22 hundredths would be less than, okay, and 20 over 15 would be more than. So when the numerators are the same, the greater the denominator, the smaller the fractions. And that's where sometimes we get a bit confused, okay? So remember, the numerator's on the top, so when the numerators are the same, so for instance this question here, okay, these two fractions, the numerators are the same, the greater the denominator, so 200 instead of 100, the smaller the fraction. Because if you think of it as sweets, okay, if you had 20, if you had a plate of 100 sweets and you had 20 of 100, okay, that would be a bigger percentage than 20 out of 200, wouldn't it? Okay, so that would be your answer. And we can then simplify that by dividing by 20 to give us 1/5. Have a go at questions 4 to 8 now on the worksheet. And once you finish, come back. Okay, so pause the video, have a go at questions 4 to 8. Good luck everyone, and I'll see you shortly. Thank you. Okay, welcome back. If you finish, I have a challenge for you. Okay, so you see the challenge here. It says Mo, Annie and Tommy all did a test with 100 questions. Tommy got 6 questions, or 6 fewer questions correct than Mo. And then on the table you can see here we've got the names, we've got their scores out of 100, and then we've got their percentage score. So it says complete the table. How many more marks did each child need to score 100%? So if we look at Mo, where's Mo's score? Out of 100, so what would his percent be? Okay, so you can write that one down. And then Annie, 65 percentage, so that was a percent score. So what did she get out of 100? And then Tommy, we don't know what Tommy got, but we can work out based on the clue above. So we know that Tommy got 6 fewer questions correct than Mo. So look at what Mo got. Tommy got 6 less or fewer questions right. So if you subtract 6 from here, you will get Tommy's score. Can you then write that as a percentage? And once you've worked out the percentage and the score for each child, you can work out the final question. How many more marks did each child need to score 100%? So how many more marks would Mo have needed? How many more would Annie have needed? And how many more would Tommy have needed? Okay, good luck everybody, and I look forward to seeing your completed challenges. Please do send them across to me. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Bye for now.